What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez. I am back. We are back with another day, another week. Today is April 23rd, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. As always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Been away for a couple days per usual format. No stream on Sunday, no stream on Mondays, and we're back for Taco Tuesday. So hopefully they serve up some decent tacos. Good news is no Jalen Brunson taco today. That's a guarantee. No Trae Young taco today. That's a guarantee. So be anxious and eager to see what they serve up for us today. Hopefully they help us bring in a little profit today. Hope everybody's weekend went well. Hope your Monday went well. Hope your playoff slips yesterday went well. In true full transparency, I fell asleep about 9:30 last night. I was pretty tired, so woke up and saw the final score of the Nuggets and Lakers game, but apparently the Lakers blew a 20-point lead. I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard. I saw that LeBron got a double-double, 12 assists, 20-plus points. I saw that AD failed to go over his rebound prop. That was a little disappointing. And I saw that Jokic put up 70 fantasy points. So that's what I saw in the recap. But I didn't really get to watch much of that game last night. Let us move on. Pretty quick intro here because the injury news is very limited today. Not a whole lot of names on the playoff injury news front. Not like the regular season where you have 30 teams in action and you got to like list injuries for all of them. Not the case for the playoffs. So I'll just read you the playoff injury report right now. And it's Giannis is doubtful. Kawhi, Grayson Allen, and Kyle Anderson are questionable. So Giannis looks to sit again for the second game of this series, and Kawhi is questionable. So outside of that, not a whole lot going on for injury news in the NBA. So let's just move on. Let's move on to the rest of the stream and get this going. As we start off, hashtag blessed. Over 10% of the U.S. population dies in their sleep every single day. So you're listening to this, you're hearing this, you're watching this, you didn't die. So hashtag blessed. Do something cool today. Do something cool for yourself before you do something cool for other people. May sound selfish, but it's really not. It's just called self-care, self-love. Treat yourself to something good, then focus on other people. Because if you don't focus on you, no, I guarantee you, nobody else will. So always start with yourself. What's going on, Big Icy? Good grand rising. Hey, Jesus, buenos dias to you, sir. Jay Marsh, good morning. Lakers lost, so as a Boston fan, it's a great day. Yeah, Boston hung on to win that game. It looked pretty dicey. We could talk about some games on Sunday since we didn't stream on Monday. But I guess in overall, the Boston Celtics handled business on Sunday. They did give up half their lead in the fourth quarter. That defense looked really bad. I don't know what's going on. They won. That's the most important thing. But for as anal and a stickler as Joe Mazzulla is, to allow his team to go out there and just give up three-pointers, just drive after drive after drive down the courts, popping threes. DeLon Wright going off for 5 threes, I think, in the fourth quarter. That's ridiculous. They need to tighten that shit up. But they held on to win, pretty much handled that game from start to finish. It's kind of what you expect. But as a Celtics fan, it makes me happy. I didn't like the way they finished the game, but I appreciate the win nonetheless. So no injury news, hashtag blessed. Let's just move on. Turds of the day, turds of the night, turds of the weekend. Since we didn't stream on Sunday or Monday, a couple of days have gone by. So any turds from the previous days, doesn't matter if they're old, expired turds, we can still talk about them here. Anybody, any team from Saturday night, Sunday, Monday that pissed you off, throw them in a chat. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these turds. Got some tea and a nice blunt, making a breakfast burrito. Hopefully the blunt's not in the burrito. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. Does that work? Like eat a blunt? I reached out to my brother on 420 to wish him a happy 420. He just started laughing. And he was like, no difference. I was like, what's the difference between 420 and 418, 419? He's like, absolutely none. But it's the thought that counts, right? Yeah, that would be extreme. By any means necessary. Oh, damn, I don't have any lighters. Oh, I guess I got to eat my blunt. I mean, I'm pretty sure your body would process it the same, right? I mean, it's still in your system getting broken down. Maybe an experiment to try on day off from work. Give it a shot. Let's see. Yesterday, my turd of the day yesterday. Man, I didn't really have one, to be honest. You know what? No, that's not a turd. I didn't really have one yesterday. My slips are okay. I didn't get chalked too hard. I mean, I had some plays not hit, but it wasn't like it just was a loss. You know, it wasn't anything that stood out to me. Going back to Sunday, man, I've had some pretty decent days in terms of my slips. I'm gonna scroll through my previous entries on PrizePicks and Underdog real quick just to see if I forgot something that was really standing out. You know what? Max Strus over points. I took his demon points at 10.5 because his 9.5 point prop was really moving on the books and it looked really good. It graded out really well. And I kind of quadrupled down on Max Strus in various slips. I took the over on his first quarter points, first half points, full game PRA, and full game points and demon points. He pushed the first half points. He didn't score anything in the first quarter. He did go over PRA for the game by way of rebounds and assists. He's not shooting the ball very often. He's not making very, very many shots. But his demon point prop is what kept me from hitting a 6 pick in one of my entries. So could have been a nice payout, but it's not that big a deal. A couple esports plays weren't working out for me this weekend. Esports has been kind of hurting lately, but other than that, I don't really have a ton of turds to talk about, to be honest with you. So I guess that's a good thing. What's going on, JR? Good morning to you. JR says, I hate my Lakers loss, but needed Murray over 19.5 to cash a 12-leg parlay. Buzzer beater to cash 12-leg. Do you mind sharing what the total winning was on 12-leg? I'm assuming it wasn't like $15, $16, right? What's going on, Lopez? Good morning to you. Lopez, one of the providers in the Discord, went 5-0 yesterday, hitting that NHL shots on goal demon prop. Nice call on that one. Always fun to go 5-0, 4-0. What's going on, La Liga? Good morning. Yeah, JR, share what you, if you don't mind, share what you won on that 12-legger. All right, let's get going. Turds of the day, not too many turds. That's good. Good. Hit that like button on your way in. If you're new to the channel, new to the stream, definitely hit the like button on your way in. But also let me know in the chat that you are new, and I'll be sure to get to your player prop question when we get to that portion of the stream. I'll be sure to get to yours first as a way to say thank you for stopping by for the first time. All right. Let's keep this going. I'm going to share this offer again as we've been posting or as I've been sharing this daily on the stream over the last week or so. Props.cash giving us a very friendly offer on the annual plan. This is not available on their site or anywhere else. It is exclusive to my Discord members. So whether you're in the freemium or premium, this applies to you. It's all right there on the screen. I'm not going to read this off to you, but Basically, you're getting a very nice discount. Average is out to $12.49 per month, which is cheaper than your monthly. If you're already on for monthly on props.cash, this is way cheaper. Also get 2 free weeks of my premium Discord when you do take advantage of this. Shoot me a DM in the Discord and we'll talk about it. Second offer, 10-day pass, $9.99, less than $1 a day. Roughly $1 a day. Roughly $1 a day. Check it out. Yesterday I had a new member sign up. The day before we had somebody take advantage of the 10-day pass and make their money back on the second half slip. So it's that quick. You get it right back. Get it right back. If you tail some of the slips, if you tail the picks in the Discord, $9.99, that's one slip and then some. So DM me in the Discord if you want to know more about this, or if you're just ready to jump on, if you're not ready to do a month or a year, 10-day pass right there for you. And we move on to today, April 23rd, 2024. My little numbers aren't flickering. What's going on my slide? Doesn't matter. 423.24 today's plays. We talk PrizePicks, underdog, jock market, sleeper, hot streak. Wherever you play, we'll look up the plays on props.cash. Props.cash is what we use for all of our researching purposes. Here, you may not use props.cash. You may use something else. As long as you're using something to help you with your research, makes you a better player altogether. But if you haven't signed up for props.cash, if you don't have any current research process in place, consider using props.cash. There's my promo code, thanks25. That is 25% off your first month using that code. Now, this is a pretty popular promo code, so I appreciate everyone who has taken advantage of this. I see the numbers every month when I get in contact with my my people over on props.cash. So I'm aware that people are using this, and I say thank you very much. It goes a long way helping out the channel. Appreciate that. Let's move on. Let's pull up the PrizePicks dashboard. It is 9:11 a.m. Starting a few minutes earlier than we typically do. Good. All the more time to break down player props. Now, I am pulling up the PrizePicks dashboard because it is a friendlier dashboard for presentation purposes. It's actually the nicest dashboard. There's some ugly ass player prop dashboards out there. You may not notice it until you have to put them on your screen like I do. This is the easiest one to follow. It is the easiest for me to navigate. But if you have a play on props, or excuse me, on underdog or wherever you play, be sure to throw it in the chat, i.e. Anthony Edwards over 28 points, underdog. Simple as that. We'll break it down on props.cash, and hopefully by the end of the stream, you walk away having learned something, gaining better insight into some player props today. Let's go. Let's go. All right. The first prop that I see on the board right now is this KD under 3.5 assists, or under or over. Jesus is conflicted. He's got the devil and the angel on his shoulder telling him, hey, under, hey, over. Doesn't know what to do yet. Let's see if we can help him out. Second one is nice, JR. What is like 20x? You got 20x on that one? Nice. Jay Marsh wants to talk about Rafael Devers hits, runs, and RBIs. Yeah, let's do it. I will build out a slip on the stream using some plays from my cheat sheet. But for now, I'm going to clear out this screen and we're going to talk about your plays. We'll see if we can get a few more viewers on so we can get as many eyes on that slip as possible. But if not, by 9:40-ish, we'll go ahead and build out a quick slip using my plays, assuming they're not bumped up by then. If you have any interest in my cheat sheet or any interest in my plays, I post all the cheat sheet information, recaps for the day from the previous day in the Discord, roughly around 6 a.m., 5 to 6 a.m. every day. It is exclusive to premium members. I do have a free sheet as well. It's been about 60% hit rate over the last five or 6 days. So not bad. I want 100% hit rate, but obviously that's not possible every day. 60%. If you track your bets over the next 30 days and you went from wherever your hit rate is now to 60%, how much money would that add to your bank account or to your account? Probably a lot. 60% is a strong number. All right, let's talk about Kevin Durant. Assist. We don't know what we want to do with this one, right? Well, let's put the over on it for now. Let's figure out. Let's build a case for it nonetheless. Am I able to put it on the board without selecting a more or less? Nah. Damn, they make you do that. All right. To LA, what's up? I have a line that's worth a sprinkle. It's first or second quarter 3-way tie, 1,200 plus odds, good in elimination games. OKC versus Pels, first 2 quarters cash. Damn. Nice. Yeah, all the book talk, all the money lines and things like that, I don't have access to, so I tend not to pay too much attention to them because I can't play them in Texas. But it is always nice to see someone profit from their slips, no matter what they play. As long as your bank account is, I keep saying bank account, as long as your account's growing, that's all that matters. La Liga says Luka rebounds over 9.5 is his play of the day. Luka had I want to say Luka struggled a little bit, but I think he ended up with an overall decent stat line. 33, 13, and 6. 61 fantasy points, 52 PRA. I don't know what his PRA for that game was. I think maybe 54.5, 55.5. So he got off to a really ugly start. 4 for 12 from 3. Just couldn't find his shot. But teams make adjustments in the playoffs. So I'd love to see a much stronger game from Luka in terms of his play, because that just makes the game more competitive and makes it more fun. I don't have a dog in that fight. I can give 2 shits about the Mavericks and the Clippers. Vintage Clippers, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. I gave a lot of shits about those Clippers. These Clippers, whatever. All right, so we got Luka on the board. We got KD. We'll figure out what we want to do with those. Luka's traumatized by the Clippers. I thought he owned the Clippers. What game did he have a game this season where he put up like 90 fantasy points or some weird number like that? I thought I saw something, a headline about Luka owning the Clippers. Or was it the other way around? It was a long NBA season. Anybody have any insight on that? Drop it in the chat. I might be remembering that wrong. 2LA says Dame unders my second half, no cash. Mr. Second half. What? Yeah, dude. What the fuck was that about? Dame going 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 in the second half, no points. Did he shoot? Dude, same thing almost with Donovan Mitchell yesterday. Does all his work in the first half. Then he goes out there in the second half, and at some point he eventually scores. But I think for the most of the third quarter, he didn't do much. Maxey finishes the first half with 20 points. I don't think he scored until maybe the fourth quarter, or maybe he scored like a few minutes left in the third. Like, these second half drop-offs are really frustrating. If we get some consistency with this, we just start targeting the unders on some of these guys, because I don't know what's going on. Are the adjustments being made that good to where Dame just goes scoreless? I mean, what is that? Did he get the call? What's going on? Hey, Suit System taking his rebounds, assists, and points prop. Give me all that shit. going to be looking at Westbrook. Ant-Man, 20 points, Goblin, or 6 rebounds. Let's see. What do we have for Anthony Edwards? Man, he looks so good. He's arrived. 33, 9, and 6 last game. 6 turnovers, though. 6 turnovers on 24 shots. 50% from 3. We like his 20-point Goblin. 6 rebounds. Where are you? Where are you, Michael Jordan's son? What's the rumor? Michael Jordan has 2 sons in the NBA, Jimmy Butler and Anthony Edwards, and then they do the split face with Jordan on one side and then the other side, whoever, and it's just like everything lines up. The eyes, the nose, the lips are like perfectly symmetrical. So apparently Michael Jordan was spreading his seed around like those are his two sons in the NBA. Not a bad family right there, right? It would make sense, right? Because Anthony Edwards and Jimmy Butler are not bitches. They don't take games off. They play injured. They hustle. They do all those things that Jordan did, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised by anything these days. I'd be scared of betting on too many NBA props nowadays. It's going to get tougher as the playoffs. Like the first 2 rounds are your best rounds because that's the most options you'll have. And then as the field narrows down, it gets tougher and tougher to find value because these pick'em sites can just isolate and control those lines, and you don't have any other options. So enjoy it while you can, while we have this many teams. No team has been eliminated yet. We got plenty of basketball, but as we get into the championship games and obviously the finals, it's like the same plays every day, same plays every single day. All right, let's see. Too many Vegas calls in the second half. Yeah, I felt like it yesterday. What's going on, T? Good morning. Damian, what's up? Damian says, how do you score 35 points in the first half and don't hit your PRA? Yeah. If you ask Dame, he would say easy. That's easy. What's up, Seaver? Good morning. What's a good Shea line? I have not bet on him all season. I took the under on the second half double-doubles. That hit. I didn't cash my slip because fucking Claxton didn't get his double-doubles, but very rarely does SGA get you double-doubles and triple-doubles. So I didn't realize that until I dug into his games, but that was an easy one to figure out. Crowder. Let's throw Crowder in there and let's finish off this slip or this first round of player props. And then we'll come back for a second round. Crowder with no potentially no Gobert. Yeah, they have no props for Crowder. I'm assuming that one's on underdog. I'm assuming Crowder's on underdog, right? He's not on PrizePicks. Since coming back from injury, Crowder has not been terrible in his 3-pointers at 0.5 when you can find them. I don't want to say they're a sure thing, but I think it's like a high percentage play. All right. Took it down. Too good. Too good. I tell you what, let's pull up Shea. Let's pull up Shea. That was probably the best game of the weekend. 94-92. No blowout. Both teams playing hard, competitive, low scoring, but in terms of just NBA product, I thought that was the best game of the weekend. Shea finishes with 28, 6, and 4. So point prop 29.5. teams make adjustments offensive and defensively. So I know he finished under his PRA last game. If he does it again, we might be able to get his PRA under 40 next game. But maybe his PRA. I think rebounds are a push. Points and rebounds. That's solely dependent on his points. I mean, if you think SGA finishes with 30 or more, I think he goes over this. But if you think he finishes with 30 or more, then just take the over on his points. The last thing you would want from SGA is him finishing with 31 points and 3 rebounds. You know, so if you feel like his points and rebounds is in play due to his points, then maybe take a look at his points alone, because he's going to score. You know, I mean, you could possibly take a look at the under on his RA, to be honest with you. I'll take a stand and say under on SGA's 11.5 RA. We'll take a look at it on props.cash, and then we'll see what we figure out. But we're going to go over to props.cash right now. If you've never seen props.cash used in real time before, you're in luck, because that's what we do every stream. We use props.cash in real time. We take the player props from our pick'em sites, and we try to build a case. There is no bias here. It's data driven. It's numbers driven. It's all factual. There is no subjectiveness with this breakdown. And we're going by the numbers. If I happen to disrespect your favorite player, I apologize. It's not personal. It's all numbers. That coffee's personal, though. Oof, that's strong. All right. Starting off in Minnesota, let's look at... We got Towns, we got Beal, and we got Durant. Let's pull up Kevin Durant first, since that was the first player prop that we threw on the board. We're going to try to make a case for his assist at 3.5. In terms of the odds, all the books outside, oh, excuse me, 3 of the 5 books listed here like the under at -130, -127, -120. FanDuel, PointsBet are split, even odds on both sides. He is projected for 3.29 assists. So coming into this game, he was 3 for 4. Coming into the first game, he was 3 for 4. After the first game, 3 for 2. So 2 games back to back versus Minnesota. Didn't get it done on the assist. Over the last 10 games, including that one playoff game, but 9 of those being regular season games, Kevin Durant's been hooking. He's been hooking with his fishnets on. He's been hooking over in 3, though. I would honestly, typically the PA would be lower than the PR. I just feel like this is a series where Kevin Durant scores a lot. He did go for 30. He did go for 31 in the first game. I don't know if he scores 31 the rest of the series. But I feel like this is just a series where Kevin Durant's going to look for his shot and just be more aggressive. If his shot is falling, you could look to his points, or you could look to his points and assist. If you don't know what to do with his assist, you could look to his points and assists that are giving you better odds at 125 on FanDuel, -118, -120, and -125. There is a little juice to the under. But in my opinion, there is a stronger possibility that he goes over points and assists than just assist alone. If Kevin Durant gets hot, the last thing he's going to be trying to do is look for somebody else's shot. You know, I think he stays aggressive. If his shot's not falling, then you're fucked because he's not scoring any points. But That's the risk you take anytime you play a player prop. So outside of the, you know, the risk and doubting it and all that shit we can get in our heads about all that bullshit, 29.5 PA is probably my favorite out of these lines for Kevin Durant. His rebounds and assists has just been a little on the low end going into that game against Minnesota. I mean, 2 out of the last 9 games, you know. I think points and assists are in play. I know the assists are really low, but you have to always factor in they're low for a reason. You're not gonna get over on PrizePicks. You're not gonna find a prop that's like, oh my God, what are they doing? They know what they're doing. This is a trap. This is a bait. He's hooked it in 2 games out of the last 5, but he's 0 for 5. There is no close. You don't get points for close. You don't get points for hooks. So if Kevin Durant gets you 3, there is no, he almost got it. You lost. You lost your money. So there's something to this line. I don't want to play it. I'd rather play his points and assists or just his points alone, because I think he's going to stay hot or try to stay hot and look for a shot. Who else? Bradley Beal. Why is Anthony Edwards way at the bottom? Isn't he like the best player on this damn team? I don't think they go by that. I don't know what they're definitely not going alphabetical order. So we're looking at his rebounds first. 5.5. He needs 6. Under on PointsBet, under on BetMGM, slight under on Caesars, under on DraftKings, under everywhere except FanDuel giving you split odds. So right off the bat, the books don't support this one for the over. Let's figure out why. There's this nice ascension going on here. This is an outlier game. I don't expect Anthony Edwards to bring down 9 rebounds every game or even every game this series. On the year, Anthony Edwards averaged 5.5 rebounds per game. Numbers against numbers against Phoenix. 5 out of his last 8 for a 63% hit rate. And 5 out of his last 10. I think what's going on here is that there's this what goes up must come down approach, where how much higher do you think Anthony Edwards goes from here? Do you think he gets you 9, 10, 11? There is room for regression here. Now, just because he regresses doesn't mean he goes down to 2 or 3. He could regress and hit 6 and go over, right? But what I'm saying is here, it's more likely that this number comes down than it is to go up. If you take a look at his last 15 games, that's 5. If you take a look at his last 15 games, and games where he's had these outlier rebound games, the very next game, it's going to come down. It's odds. I mean, like, it's just, that's the way it is. It's hard to maintain that level of consistency, that high level of consistency. But look, even with the drop off, he got over. So you're still over. Drop off here, he finishes under. Drop off here, he doesn't even get a rebound or got 1 rebound. So I expect there to be a drop off here. The question is, do you believe he drops off to 6, which is the over, or do you think it's under 6? Maybe you just want to stay away from this one because it's too complicated to try and figure out. Although if you're going by the odds alone, they like the under. Projections do like the over at 6. So the odds on this one are not terrible. There are some very close numbers here. Yes, they are favoring the under, but you're not getting massive odds to the under. So if you want to take a shot at this one and you believe that he regresses, but it doesn't go under 6, you got the support of projections, You got head-to-head games here that support the over, and you don't have the worst odds. In terms of his points, 19.5 points. You were looking at the Goblin for this one. Well, let's figure this one out. Damn. This fucking thing. All right. Last 10 games of the regular season, well, 9 plus the playoff game. He's gone over 19 points, 19.5 points. He's gotten you 20 or more in 7 of these games. Head-to-head with the Phoenix Suns, he's gone over this line in 3-4 out of those 8 games. I think 19.5 is too low. There doesn't seem to be a lot of drop-off for Anthony Edwards when he goes over 19.5 points. I mean, he did fall here. He did fall here. 4 in a row, he did fall here. 3 in a row, he did fall here. He is projected for 27 points today. I would hold off on this one, honestly. I think this could be a taco for us today. Or not. I would wait on this one. I would wait on this one only because in the event you play his Goblin at 19.5 points, you're taking a payout cut. You're taking a payout reduction. In the event they make him a taco, you're going to get full payout for that at a lower line. So I would wait on this one. If you have patience, I would wait on that one. Bradley Beal, 17.5 points. Welcome to the playoffs, Bradley Beal. I don't know who was doing the commentating for the game, but one of them fools made the dumbest comment for a professional analyst commentator that I've ever heard. And they said, this might be the best team that Bradley Beal has ever been on in the playoffs. Maybe the best team. Kevin Durant, Hall of Famer, all-time great. Devin Booker, one of the great players in the NBA, or just one of the better players in the NBA. Just those 2 players alone are better than any fucking team he's been on. Just those 2 players. You think maybe he's on the best team? Get out of here. He spent his whole career in Washington. Come on, man. Come on. That was like low-hanging fruit. I mean, you might as well have just said, oh, I think Bradley Beal has been injured at one point in his career, maybe a few games he's missed. Bradley Beal points. This is what we're looking at today. 3 out of the last 5 games versus Minnesota. Didn't do it last game. Last game of the regular season, he did go over this one. Was that the last game of the regular season, or was one of the last games? No, it was. Prior to this playoff game, things tightened up in the playoffs. He went 4 straight. He is projected for 19.7 points, which is basically 20 points today. FanDuel doesn't know what to do with it. DraftKings likes the under. Caesars likes the under. A lot of unders on these plays. While the projections look good, the odds are in favor of the under by a little bit. Head to head again with the Wolves overall have been okay, but we're really just focusing on these 3 games because these 3 games are as a Sun this season, and he's only 1 for 3. In my opinion, I just feel like Kevin Durant, if his usage is high, Bradley Beal he's just not going to get the volume. that you need him to get. 10 shots. Now, I don't think 10 shots is really low. Like, can he fall anywhere between 14 and like 18 shots? Can he and Durant can he increase his shot volume without pulling away from Durant usage and Booker usage? It's hard, right? But he needs 18 points to go over this. I don't know about this one, to be honest with you. His minutes are going to be there. 10 shots. 1 for 3 from 3. 6 of 10. 60% hit rate. These are some really strong numbers here. His conversion. I mean, if he gives you 14 field goal attempts, he makes 8 based off these numbers. That's an additional 4 points. If he had an additional 4 points in the first game, that's 19. Now, keep in mind, that game got out of hand in the fourth quarter, so it's possible that if this game were to stay close, I mean, 8 minutes in the fourth quarter and he scored nothing. Like, you got to score one shot, right? If he gives you 4, if he gives you 3 to 4 shots this game, additional shots, I believe that's enough for him to go over 17.5. That's the difference. His shot volume was so low. He needs to score and he needs to shoot more than 10 times. Unless this guy goes 9 for 10 or 10 for 10, it's going to be really hard for him to go over on points if he's only taking 10 shots a game. So Bradley Beal, 13, 14 field goal attempts. I definitely think he goes over this line. Now, the problem is I can't predict how many field goal attempts he'll take. Just like yesterday on Strus's points, when I wrote him up for my write-up of the day, it hit 17.5 PRA, talking about Strus's points. He shot so poorly in game 1 and his volume was low, but if he gets you a few extra shots, he should go over points. Well, he didn't get you extra shots and he went under points for the second straight game. So players aren't shooting, they're not scoring. It's hard to go over point prop. Playoffs are a lot different. Playoffs are a lot different than the regular season. It's not show friends, it's show business. It's showtime. All right. Luka over rebounds. Bounce back for Luka. It's funny to say bounce back for Luka when he went for what? 50 PRA? He went for 52 PRA. Bounce back for Luka. 3 straight games of not going over this line of points. Rebounds. 13 boards. Crushes it. Luka was actually projected to go under rebounds that game, I believe. He was also projected to go under assists, which actually did go according to plan. I don't mind taking the under on his assists, to be honest with you. But we're talking about his rebounds today at 9.5. Back-to-back games with 10 plus. 5 out of his last 7 versus the Clippers. Versus everyone else in the league over the last 10 regular season games. 9 regular season games, 1 playoff game here. He did go over. It has gone over in 70%. Projected for 11 rebounds. I don't know if I said that or not. FanDuel slightly likes the over, while DraftKings likes the under. Caesars really likes the under. Split on points bet. And BetMGM has this at -150 to go over 8.5. If you have access to books, please go look for this on BetMGM at 8.5 at -150 to go over. That is too low of a line for Luka. But at 9.5, you're getting mixed odds on this one. You're not getting unanimous odds for the over, unfortunately. So you're not getting all the support from the books. His rebounds projections are strong, and then his head-to-head numbers against the Clippers are strong as well. If you have any reservations on his rebounds today, basically saying, I don't know if he can continue this level of consistency, then look to the under on his assist. Make a wish. All right. So we were looking for a player prop for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander today, like a good one. The one that stood out to me, instead of looking at the overs for him and questioning whether or not he can get the over, I think looking at an under for him for his rebounds and assists is a good place to start. If you're someone that doesn't like playing unders, I completely understand, but they are 50% of your options. So by eliminating unders altogether, you're really putting yourself in a hole. When you look at his odds on DraftKings, they are favored for the under as they are on Caesars, BetMGM, and PointsBet. FanDuel is the only book that has this not going under, and it's even odds at 11.5, or excuse me, at 113. He has gone over this line in 4 out of his last 10 games, but his numbers against New Orleans, this is against New Orleans. So 4 out of his last 10 games against New Orleans, or 9 against New Orleans. To end the close out the season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games. And then if you add in the playoff game, that's 6 straight games of going under. This one is going to get bumped down to 11. And if it gets bumped down to 11, I just stay away from it because it's in no man's land. I don't want to play a prop that has odds to push like that. So I think 11.5 is a strong number to take the under on. We have the data here over his last 10. We have the data versus this team. And then you have odds in favor of the under. And then you also have projections in favor of the under at 10.26. So I don't know if you want to consider this a good play for Shai, but it's one that makes sense to me versus trying to figure out if he's going to score 31, 32 points today. All right. So give me the under on Kevin Durant's assists, but give me the over on his PA, or just give me the over on his points. Taking the over on Luka's rebounds. If you don't like his rebounds, then take the under on his assist. Anthony Edwards is due for some regression. The question is, does he regress below 6? Because he just needs 6 to go over this one. Also, we do like the over on his Goblin points, but I'd wait and see what the taco is going to be first, because at least with the taco, you don't have to take a pay cut. Bradley Beal, I'm going to say over his points, but I'm going to put a little asterisk by this one. If Bradley Beal doesn't shoot more than 10 times today, he does not go over this point, bro. He has to go 9 for 10 from the field. Bradley Beal needs 14 shot attempts today to get close to this, if not over. If he gets you 14 shot attempts or more, this is an easy over. And then under on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So let's screenshot these and we'll throw them in the chat, or excuse me, we'll throw them in the Discord. All right. And we'll clear it. All right. Boom, boom, boom. What I miss? 30 viewers on the stream. Thank y'all for being here. I truly appreciate that. Hit the like button on your way in. That shit means a lot to me. And we'll keep this going. We'll put a few more plays on the board. Missed a lot. Yeah. So 2LA asked the Shai line question. We got Bill over the points for JR. Crowder, they took off the board because PrizePicks is greedy. Patrick Corbin over 5.5 hits allowed on sleeper from Damian. Also, speaking of Patrick Corbin, we were talking about this in our provider channel earlier. Well, Damian was. He was dropping his knowledge on everybody this morning. But there are a few different ways you can play Corbin today versus an LA team who is projected to do pretty well and hit him pretty well today. You can look at the over on his hits allowed, which is now a goblin. You could take a look at the under on his pitching outs. And that's about it. They have basically removed the better value from the board. You got to get on these plays really early. In my opinion, the best play right now is the under on his pitching outs because it is the original line. But I think the hits allowed, if you can find it under, PrizePicks is making you take the over on this one. So, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. We want the over on his hits allowed, right? But they're making you take the over at a lower payout. So don't play it on PrizePicks. Play it on another site that gives you full payout. If you can't find it on another site, then just play a line that doesn't reduce pay. So you're basically, when you play a play like this, you're basically paying PrizePicks to play their play. Does that make sense? Because you're not getting the full payout on this one. A typical 2-pick pays you a 3x. This one's giving you a 2.5. I know they're the same player, but it doesn't matter for this example. This should be 3x, and it's a 2.5 because of this pay decrease. Don't pay PrizePicks to play their slips. Unless you just want to. If you just want to give them your money before you give them your money, then that's on you. But find this on another pick'em site before you play it on PrizePicks. But Corbin under pitching outs, we can take a look at that one. I like Lopez 3s over Crowder. I agree with Seaver. When I pick Lopez, he does not respect my coin either. I just pick him on the wrong days. But I don't pick him on bad games. I pick him when the numbers are in his favor and he doesn't do it. So maybe we should pick him when he's not favored to do shit. And maybe he'll go over, but he's not on the board with his 3s. So again, PrizePicks is removing these plays pretty quickly, or they're not putting them on the board. So again, another example of why it's important to play on multiple pick'em sites. Because if you only played on PrizePicks, you would think that these are the only 7-player props for Lopez out there ever. Then you go on Sleeper, then you go on Underdog, and you see that there are 15, 20-player props to pick. PrizePicks is only going to give you a third. Less on SGA steals and blocks. What's up, Vibes? So there's another under for SGA. What's going on, Divine? Says huge recap before about when me bread last night. Jokic triple-double. Needed LeBron to plus 800. Green. 2LA said, I was asking what's the best way to go off numbers head-to-head, last 10. Head-to-head and last 10 for sure. Head-to-head and last 10 for sure. When we go back to props.cash, I'll show you how to use all 3 to create a storyline. You always want to try to create a story for the prop. Like, how do you see it playing out based off what, right? How and what. Damian also likes the SGA under 2.5 blocks and steals. Rudy Gobert over rebounds. Let's get money. $13. Well, this has been bumped. I agree, Seaver. KD over points. I agree with that. You like Luka over boards also. People are taking the under on Anthony Edwards today, probably because, well, I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I would say maybe people are hesitant to go back to a player after they've had a really big game. Maybe, I don't know. If the numbers say this is the likely outcome of this, then that makes sense. But just to say, oh, this guy went off, so they're not going to go off next game. Sure, there might be some regression, but that doesn't mean he has a bad game. So I don't know why people would be under on him unless they feel like he got the call or something. Pat Bev over PRA. Ooh, Seaver, you want to go with Bev? I liked him a lot better when he was in Houston because he was hungry. He's still mean, but he was really mean in Houston. He was coming over from Russia after playing in the Russian league. Finally got his break with the Rockets, and then he broke Westbrook's kneecap. And then that's when the monster persona really took form. But I liked him a lot in Houston. Drip, what's going on? Oh, that's Divine. Your name is always throwing me off. Who do you Booker over points? All right. Yeah, we looked at Anthony Edwards points earlier. We'll take a look at Booker points. I'm scrolling all the way down. I'm missing a lot. What's going on, Jalen? Tyler, good morning to you. Tyler Knowles. Let me put one more on the board from someone who I have not taken a prop from. Appreciate y'all putting all this in the chat, though. There's a lot to go over, so if I miss your props, not personal, promise. Jalen says, top of the morning. Grayson Rodriguez over pitching fantasy. Pepio over pitching. Papois. Papois. It's a fun name to say. I tell you what, let me take Corbin out. And just for the record, I think Corbin's a great play under pitching out. It is one that I've researched already this morning. But to get more of your plays on the board, I'm going to take Corbin out for now. And I want to put Tyler. Hold on. I got vibes in there. I got pretty much everybody got a play from everybody so far. Brandon Marsh under hitter strikeout at 1.5, and then Jalen wants to look at Grayson Rodriguez. So we have two MLB plays to round out this round of player props, and then when we come back, we'll build out a quick slip. So I don't want to forget that. And then you can tail this slip if you want. Over pitching fantasy at what, 32, and then Papois. I really hope his name is pronounced Papois and not Pepio. Pepio does not have the same feel to it. Plus, Papois is one of those names where like nobody wants to say it, and if he's pitching, like the announcers have to always say his name, and they're just probably like, this fucking guy with his last name. Yeah, this is a great name. I think it's one of the best names in the MLB right now. Over pitching outs. All right. Okay, here's what we got for round two. We got Shea under blocks and steals. We got Gobert over rebounds. We got Bev over PRA. We got Book over points. Gray Rod over 32.5 PFS, and Papa over pitching out. So who can we group together here? Gobert and Book, and then we'll go the rest of the way. All right, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to head back over to props.cash, and we are going to start off with the Phoenix and Minnesota game. Well, yeah, we're going to go back to that game. Let's look at Rudy Gobert's rebounds. Was 12.5. If you played it at 12.5, this is the best line you're going to find, unless you go to a site where they let you alt line it, but you're not going to get the full payout. So just keep that in mind. You can go as low as you want on these alt lines, but your payout's not going to be good unless you're playing $300, $400 entry fees. All right. Great game against Phoenix. First game of the series. Prior to that against Phoenix, he had gone 3 straight, but these 2 games are from this season. So not the best output versus Phoenix this year. Over his last 10 leading into the playoffs, or last 9 leading into the playoffs, he was 6 out of 9. Just incredible rebounding numbers here. He does need 14 to get the over on this one. So at 12.5, he needs 13 to go over. At 13, if he got you 13, he pushes. But he still does need 14. The only difference is at 13 with a push, it doesn't crush your line. It only takes it down to the next tier. So if you're playing a 5 pick on PrizePicks, then it becomes a 4 pick. If you're playing a 6 pick, it becomes a 5 pick. So it does decrease your payout because you're not getting a 25x. It's getting bumped down to 10x, but you're not losing. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, can Gobert get you 14 rebounds? Not 13. He is projected for 14. That's all you need today. It's a lot, but that's what you need. There is no line for him at 13. There is only lines at 13.5, which is giving you massive under on this one. At 13, the odds would be more in favor of the over than what you see here. Like at 12.5, minus 122, minus 122, minus 139, minus 125. But at 13, it probably, maybe you see it at like split minus 113, minus 115 to both sides. Try to find it at 12.5 first, then play it at 13 if you absolutely must. But I think 14's in play. That's a lot of rebounds, man. But I mean, they're high for a reason. Like we talk about, when certain player props are low, they're low for a reason. They're not discounted. You're not getting over on PrizePicks. They know why they're making it that low. So when you see a high number like this, it's usually player appropriate. That player is capable of getting that line. So I think Gobert is in play for the 13 rebounds, 13 plus rebounds. Devin Booker points. Book's points are at 25.5, or they're at 25 even. So this one's been bumped. At 24.5, he was getting a 23-point projection. But at 24.5, you're getting over on FanDuel, even on DraftKings, slight under on Caesars, under on BetMGM. I don't know why this one bumped up. I mean, people are obviously playing the over on 24.5. That's why it bumped up. But based off the odds and projections, I don't see a ton to like the over on. The one narrative we do have here is what comes down must go up. So 3 straight games of sub 25-point performances for Devin Booker. So you would feel at some point he does get it back on track. Now, numbers against the Minnesota Timberwolves. All year they've had his number. 13, 23, and 18 points. Okay, so 2LA, you asked what the best way to look at numbers is: head-to-head, last 10 games, and year, right? Okay, so let's use Devin Booker as an example here. So we want to go and look at the last 10 games. last 10 games, what I look for is consistency and drop off. So in the last 10 games with Devin Booker's points, he has a 40% hit rate, but then also I'm paying attention to the drop off. Like, how many games can he string together? How many games is he stringing together of that level of play? Because anybody's capable of going off for one game, right? So maybe we need a bigger sample size. So let's zoom out to 15 games. And like, Devin Booker is capable of stringing them together, but that drop off is real, right? Boom. From 40 to 13, it's very hard to maintain that level of play. So last 10 games, I'm looking for consistency and then drop off, right? How big is that plateau, or how big is that cliff, right? When you look at the head to head, really what you're looking for is any differences between last 10 and head to head. So maybe a player is struggling over his last 10 games, but man, he's playing this team and he's 5 for 5 against this team. And this might be the matchup he needs to get right. That matchup's not Minnesota for Devin Booker, unfortunately, at least not this season. So 3 out of 4 games he's gone under, but you're also looking at the head to head to see if you can find any sort of advantage, right? You're trying to build a case. You're trying to figure out what's all available to you for your information. When you look at the full year, it's hard to say, oh, a player is going to go over his line today, because on the year, he's averaging this. Like, basketball, sports in general are games of streaks, cold and hot. So while a player might be averaging 25 points a game, over the last 7 games, they're averaging 15. They're in a slump, right? Positive regression is due at some point, but if you only went by yearly averages, you'd be missing out a lot of recent information. So that's the information you want to pay more attention to, present information versus 3-4 months ago. Also, what you can do, how you can leverage the year to the last 10 games, is you can say, okay, so on the year, Devin Booker is averaging 27 points a game. However, over his last 5, he's only averaging 22. Over his last 10, he's averaging 25.5. And head-to-head against Minnesota, he's only averaging 23. We look at his full year average and say, he's a 27 point per game guy. These averages are too low. So some positive regression is due at some point, because this is who he's been consistently. This is recently, but this shit is only a snapshot of the year. So you have to make a decision if you feel this is going to continue, or if you feel tonight's the night Devin Booker gets back to being a 27 point per game guy. In my opinion, I think the matchup is a bad matchup for him. And I'm already high on Kevin Durant's points. So I'm hoping that Kevin Durant has a good game, a better game than Devin Booker. It is possible for both of them to eat today, but I'd rather just see Kevin Durant go off for my personal slips, you know. But that is how you can look at all three. If you had to choose just one thing to look at for your research, to be honest with you, I'd look at odds. I'd look at as many odds as you possibly can. Look at as many books as you possibly can. Because when you see consistency across books, that's the entire market. It's not just one book. It's not what somebody says is going to happen. You got 5 reputable sports books that make millions of dollars every day telling you the over or the under is in play. And if you see 3 out of 5 books that like it one way, it paints a better picture for you. If you see all 5 or all 4 that like it a certain way, it paints a better picture for you. If I had only one thing to look at, it would be the odds, honestly. Projections are always subjective. They are nice to look at, and when they correlate, then it makes you feel good that you see that, because it makes you feel like you're on the right track. But projections vary from site to site depending on what what software they're using, what numbers they're going by. So if you just look at projections alone, you're going to be misled quite a bit. So just use projections as a data point, but don't use it as your only researching purpose or your only researching tool. All right, so that's Devin Booker's points. We're going to look at Pat Bev's. Who's he play for now? Milwaukee? I'm like, who's this guy play for, man? Oh, man. All right, so Patrick Beverley. Looking at the over on his PRA. Okay. Another way you can use the 10-game logs versus the full season full season stats is if you see averages over the last 5 games over what they're averaging on the year, you have to ask yourself why. Why is Patrick Beverley averaging 21 PRA in his last 5 games? Why did he only average 12.5 on the year? Well, the answer is injuries and rotation for Milwaukee, right? He's getting more playing time. He has a stronger usage rate over the last 5 games compared to what he did on a regular season, because this here is not what's happening here. So that's another way you can use both of them to kind of figure out like what's going on today. Also, Giannis has been out, right? So there's your injury news. So if Giannis remains out, it doesn't mean that Patrick Beverley goes off, but it does mean that his usage is going to be consistent to what it was in game 1. It does mean that he's going to be on the floor more. And if he's on the floor, then he can produce. If he's on the bench, he can't. It's that simple. So we're looking at his PRA today. FanDuel likes the under. DraftKings likes the under. All the books like the under. Wow. BetMGM is split at minus 135 to each side. PointsBet likes it over on 16.5. BetMGM also has it at 16.5. But these 3 books like the under in pretty strong numbers here. He's projected for 16.27 PRA today. The guy played 37 minutes in game 1. Listen, I know that his odds don't look good, and I know his projections don't look good, and Patrick Beverley is maybe the 4th option on this team. Dame, Middleton, Portis, Lopez, Bev, like in that he's 4th or 5th. But if you're going to be on the floor for 37 minutes, man, I mean, that's a lot of opportunity. You know he's not going to score 10, 12 points. So he's going to have to piece it together. He got 5 points last game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Now, maybe there's some drop off here. We saw him kind of take over point guard duties. Dame didn't get any assists. He got 2-3 assists last game. So think about it like this. If Damian Lillard goes out there and does another one of these 3 assist games, who is picking up the slack? Is it Beverley? Or do we see Dame get back on track with a more even, more balanced game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 25 points, something like that? Because if Dame goes out there and has a better just all-around game and it's not just point heavy, that's going to pull usage away from Patrick Beverley, because Patrick Beverley is not scoring many points to begin with, so he's relying on rebounds and assists. So who is going to pull away from Pat Bev? And I think that's why you're seeing the odds not in favor of the over on this one, even though he did go over in the first game of the series. It's all about just trying to create a storyline for these props, like one that you can actually believe. All right. Grayson and Papua. All right, let's go to MLB. all that backwash. Grayson Rodriguez. I thought he had been in the league for like 10 years. That dude looks like even as a rookie, his rookie card, he looked like he was 30 years old. I was so surprised. Like, when I saw a picture of him, I didn't know he was a rookie. And then the first time I pulled his rookie card, I was like, that's the dude that he's like 40 years old. He's like, what's Pablo Prigioni and shit. 35-year-old rookie looking like a second grade sub teacher and shit. So we're looking at the over fantasy score for Grayson Rodriguez. So in baseball, it's a little tougher trying to figure out the fantasy score. But the format's the same, where we go by odds or we can go by projections. So just by projections, he's projected for 6 strikeouts, which is 18. He's projected to give up 2 earned runs, which is -6. So that's 12 points right there. Pitching outs also factor into this. So if he gives you 6 innings, that's 18 plus 12 is 30. That does qualify you for the quality start bonus, which is an additional 4. So that's 34 fantasy points for Grayson Rodriguez. And if he got you to win, that's 40 fantasy points. Minus the win, it's 34. His fantasy score line on PrizePicks is 32.5. So 34 is bigger than 32.5. That's the over. Now, if you want to go by odds, these odds correlate with the projection. -125 gives me about 6 earned runs. He's projected for -175 to the under, so he's not projected to give up a ton of production today to the bats to the Angels bats. So let's say he goes out there and doesn't give up 2. Let's say he gives up 1 earned run. Might be a little low, but -175, that's a heavy number to the under. So if he just gave up 1 earned run, that's -3. From 18, that's 15. And he still goes out there and gets you 17. So that's 35. That's 35 points, right? 15 plus 18, 15 plus, that's 32. Plus the quality start, that's 36. So based off what I'm seeing here, Rodriguez would have to get blown up by the Angels and give up more than 2 earned runs, 3, 4, 5, or he would have to struggle in terms of strikeouts versus the Angels. The Angels this season striking out at a 24% rate versus right-handed pitching. BVP versus Grayson Rodriguez. Currently for the Angels, you got some pretty low strikeout rates for Trout and Ward. But Aaron Hicks has struck out in 3 straight plate appearances versus Rodriguez. 75% K rate for Drury, 40% for Rengifo. There's some strikeouts to be had in this lineup. Overall, these are the numbers, the K rates for this current lineup versus righties. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 possible bats that will be in this lineup that have a 20% or higher strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching. So I think 6 is in play. The only thing that would worry me is if he just left the pitch over the plate and they hung 3 on him in the first inning or some shit like that. Other than that, I think everything is lining up for the over on his fantasy score. All right, last one. Papois. We're looking at, who does Papois pitch for? Tampa. I don't know why they don't change his damn profile picture to him wearing a Tampa Bay Rays hat. They can't just superimpose that shit. Like when they superimpose NBA players who get traded in their new jersey before they actually play a game with that team. They can't just superimpose a damn Tampa Bay hat on them. All right, 16.5. Pitching outs. So 4 starts this year, he's gone over in 3. Numbers against Detroit, just 1 game in his career, 18 pitching outs. Now, today, his odds are minus 127 to go under, 130 on BetMGM, and 128 on Pinnacle. So 3 reputable sports books do have him going under on his pitching outs. Damn, 155. So that's like 3 earned runs. But that's 7 strikeouts. If he got you 7 strikeouts, that's 21 points. If he gave up 3 earned runs, 21 minus 9 is 12. And then he goes for 16. That's 28 fantasy points. If he went 6 and gave up 3 or less, then he does qualify for that quality start. So you get an additional 4 points. So that'd be 32 fantasy points. His fantasy points could be in play. His strikeouts seem to be in play based off these numbers and based off the based off these 2 books. Wow, he's not really grading out all that well, to be honest with you. 2 out of 5 books like the over on strikeouts, 3 don't. He's getting bad numbers for his pitching outs. Oof. On the year, Detroit is whiffing hard. 25% whiff rate versus right-handed pitching in 2024. BVP, so we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in his current lineup who have faced Papua. Typically, when a pitcher is facing a team for the first time, or when a pitcher is facing multiple batters in a lineup for the first time, you side with the pitcher because they haven't seen his stuff yet. And so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in here who could be in the lineup who've never seen Papua, who've never taken a pitch from him. And the other 4 guys have minimal at bat. So they're going to be seeing him for the second game, which is not a lot of sample size. His strikeouts could be in play based off that. And their right-handed pitching has given him fits this season. 25% whiff rate. I think his strikeouts are in play, to be honest with you. And if you want to take a shot on his fantasy score, it is possible that he goes over fantasy score and doesn't get you 17 pitching outs. That is very possible. I don't know about his pitching outs, though. All right. So looking at his numbers, I like his strikeouts, to be honest with you. You don't have a fantasy score for him, unfortunately, but Maeda, how about this one? How about Maeda and Ryan Papua over their combined strikeouts? This was at 10.5. It did get bumped up to 11. But if Papua goes out there and gets you 7 strikeouts, Maeda only needs to get you 5. This one could be in play, and I think his strikeouts can be in play. Now, I will say the last time that we took a pitcher against the Detroit Tigers in the Discord, we were feeling really good about that one. Was it Trevor Rogers? I can't remember, but they blew his ass up, the Tigers. So anything is possible in the MLB, no matter how good the matchup is for the pitcher, and anything can happen. But you can't look at it like that. You got to look at the numbers, and you got to look at the data that supports it. And I thought we got a lot of good data versus the Tigers for his strikeouts. So I think his strikeouts are in play. Like the over on Rodriguez pitcher fantasy score. Devin Booker, listen, I'm not saying he can't get 26 points tonight. I don't know if he does, especially if KD goes out there and has the kind of game that he had in game 1. And we're also looking for more shot volume from Bradley Beal. I don't know about this one, but I'm going to leave it as the over because that's what was asked in the chat. Patrick Bev, this is really dependent on Dame Lillard. What kind of game does Dame have? Does he come out there and do more with the assists and rebounds. If he does, I think that takes away a lot of usage from Pat Bev, because Pat Bev is not a double-digit scorer. Gobert over 13 rebounds. The only one we didn't look at was Shea over blocks and steals, but we like the under on that one, right? Me personally, anytime like this Pat Bev line, anytime there's a player prop that is dependent on another player having or not having a good game, I try to stay away from those, because I can't predict that. You know, Pat Bev is not a high usage player to begin with, so he really did benefit from Dame not doing shit in the second half last game and just being scoring dependent. So it's really dependent on that. Those are really hard ones to nail down, because you can't predict what the other player is going to do also. All right. Let's build out a slip real quick on PrizePicks. I want to pull a few plays off my cheat sheet, assuming that they're not all bumped up by now, since these plays have been on my cheat sheet for about 4.5 hours. Let's see what's left. Let's see if I can build a slip with what's left, and then we'll fill in the blanks. You can tell this if you want or not. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. All right. So I actually do have this. I do have this Kenta Maeda, Ryan Papois over 10.5. When I wrote it up, it was at 10.5, but we're going to do the 11.5 line anyway. I think this esports play got bumped down. There are a lot of esports plays on Underdog that I liked. Yeah, this one got taken off the board. There are a lot of them that I like on Underdog, but they're not available on PrizePicks. So again, just another reason to look to different pick'em sites, because PrizePicks does not have all the lines. I think we'll do a 5-pick today. Let's see. I have another MLB play that I like. And if I need another player or two, then I'll just pull one from the chat, since there was a lot of props in the chat being asked about. All right. So this one was standing out to me too. So my PrizePicks just is having a brain aneurysm right now. There you go. And that coffee is dead. So many Lopez's is in the major leagues. All right. So I'm pulling a couple off the cheat sheet. The other one that I wouldn't mind playing is Kyrie Irving over his rebounds and assists. However, I will let you know that PrizePicks has this at 9. Sleeper has it at 8.5. So if you play on Sleeper and you want to keep riding this rebounds and assist wagon for Kyrie Irving, Sleeper is going to offer you the best line that I've seen. I think it's 9 on. It is 9 on PrizePicks. I believe it's 9 on Underdog as well. So you can also look to play it on PrizePicks and Underdog. But if you want to shop around for the best line, it's going to be on Sleeper at 8.5, and it's not offering you any sort of payout deduction. Just standard line. All right, let's see. Vibe says, look at Abrams' fantasy score. CJ Abrams over hitter fantasy score. I'm assuming over on that one, man. PG's points just dropped from 25.5 to 25. So a lot of people playing the under on that one. Two LA, so that took Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both hooked for me for 2 threes. Think I should have banned 3. Think I should ban 3-point lines. Yeah, that's a tough one. Remember last year in the playoffs against the Hawks? Like, we didn't really see the best version of the Celtics. I don't know if they're just like cruising right now and they just have so much talent in that starting 5. I mean, you got Porzingis and Drew Holiday that weren't there in addition to Derek White. You got, I mean, the whole starting 5 can knock down threes. And then you go 3 deep into the bench with Pritchard, Hauser, and when Luke Cornett was coming off the bench, your first 3 off the bench, right, are knocking down threes. So we could be seeing a drop-off in threes from those 2 guys until you get into the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they make it to the NBA Finals, where you assume the big name step up. But yeah, those 3 lines have been off a little bit. What's going on, Vu? Good morning. Says I'm late. Top of it. Went to sleep. Oh, nice. Went to sleep. Woke up 500 richer. Congrats. Here's our taco voting for today. We got Gobert being dropped from 28.5 to 24.5 PRA. See, there's your Devin Booker right there. You want to take the over on his points. If it becomes the taco, this is when you take the over on his points. Karl Anthony Towns dropped from 18.5 to 14.5 points. Oh, I think the Middleton one is the grossest one out of all, so I would just cancel that one out. Honestly, after talking all that shit about Devin Booker, that's the one that I'm kind of looking at that has the most upside in my opinion. 20.5 points. That's a goblin, right? That's basically his goblin. When I look at those names, the only one that really appeals to me is Devin Booker out of those names. Like, Rudy Gobert could easily just get into foul trouble or just be stupid out there. We've seen Karl Anthony Towns just shoot himself out of a game. Sometimes he just goes MIA for a quarter. I mean, if you want to make a case for Middleton without Giannis, you can. My personal bias is kind of creeping in because I've had really bad experiences playing his lines. But I guess if you wanted to rank them, it'd be Devin 1, Middleton 2. And then just, I'm not really feeling Gobert or Anthony Towns. Middleton's in play if Giannis is out for sure. Those are not great tacos. I don't know. What do y'all think about those? I'm not really feeling those. Towns is at 39%. Booker's at 23%. Go figure. PrizePicks has all those damn robots voting. Jalen, everybody, please remember to not take the first taco. Why am I yelling? Sorry. Please remember to not take the first taco prop. Take the second taco for hockey and take the under on the original taco line. The first taco of the day always bombs out. Jalen says Ant-Man averages 36.5 PR in the playoffs. For sure, man. Man, fuck them tacos, man. Fuck them restaurant tacos, man. I only eat tacos from trucks. Where's your taco truck, PrizePicks? That's how we do it in Texas. If you got to sit down to eat tacos, I don't trust that shit. If your shit's being served by Amy, I don't trust those tacos. My shit is served by Jesus. Maribel. All right, let me finish making out this goddamn slip so we can dip out of this. All right, so far I have I got Kenson Maeda and Pepois over their strikeout prop. I got under on Pablo Lopez, under on Miles Turner. We're going to take a look at CJ Abrams. I wasn't really looking at CJ Abrams this morning. Not saying it's not a good play. I just didn't get a chance to look at a whole lot of hitter fantasy scores in the MLB. But if this one looks okay, we'll add him to the slip. Who does he play for again? Washington. You ever met somebody who puts the R in words that it's not there? Like in Boston, it's there. Not everybody has the R, but like when you go to wash your clothes. The first time I heard that, it really made me laugh. I thought they were just joking around. I was like, "You're gonna go what now? You're gonna go wash my clothes?" It's like, what the fuck is that? You know, at the laundromat. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Go wash your clothes. I wash my clothes all the time. All right, so Abram, last 4 starts, man, he has been crushing 3, 2, 5, and 3. These are his hits, runs, and RBIs. We're not getting projections from him today. That's okay. Let's take a look at his BVP. Hit list against James Paxton. 3 plate appearances. But numbers against left-handed pitching, like James Paxton this season, or just overall, a little bit of a high K rate, but his ISO is strong. Batting average is also very strong. And his WOBA is respectable. All right, so in 2024, lefty versus lefty matchup. So we're getting this reverse split shit going on here. He's hit it very well. 333 batting average, 3 singles, a double, a triple, and 2 home runs. So he's hit for the cycle versus lefties. That's another way you can look at it. In 2024, lefty versus lefty matchup for James Paxton has, in terms of batting average, hasn't been great. He got a pretty inflated batting average there, allowing 3 hits. They are singles, so he's not giving up power. He's not giving up a lot of production to lefties. But the average is a bit high. It kind of breaks even for me. None of these guys are like really dominating to start the year off in terms of their lefty-lefty matchup, but we go by Abrams' last 5 games. So let's look at this to see if we can figure out what a decent fantasy projection could be for Abrams. So he's projected for, at 185, 1 is in play. Is it 2 possibly? Let's be conservative here. Let's say he goes out there and gets you a single. That's 3 points. It's hard sometimes figuring out hitter fantasy score just based off odds, because sometimes these odds don't make a ton of sense. For instance, he's projected for, or he's given minus 185 odds to get over 0.5 hits. But when we go down the line, he's got odds in favor of the under on a single, odds in favor of the under on the double, triple. So if all this shit is on the under, when does he get a hit? You see what I'm saying? So instead of trying to figure out if you get the single, double, triple, I think looking at these odds at minus 185, 2 hits is a lot. Honestly, you don't think it's a lot in the MLB, but go look at box scores. Go look at box scores. You don't really see players get 2-3 hits a game. It's hard to do. But if he were to get you 2 hits and there were 2 singles, that's 6 points. I think the odds of him scoring a run are better than his odds of hitting an RBI since he bats at the top of the lineup, correct? He's on base versus you're the first at bat. There's nobody on. Unless you hit a home run, you can't get an RBI. So I think a run scored for him is in play. So with 2 hits and a run scored, that's 8 points. That's 8 fantasy points. Just his numbers against the Dodgers in general have been pretty good over his career. He is hitting for some power. I tell you what, if he gets a hold of one today, that's one way to go over fantasy score, is if you hit a home run. That's probably the quickest way to get over on your fantasy score, is if you hit a home run. I just want to pull up the spray chart for today's game. So wind is blowing out. Yeah, wind is blowing out, which could be helpful in terms of carrying the ball. I'm not too familiar if Washington is a hitter-friendly ballpark or not, but it doesn't hurt if the wind is on your side. If you get a hold of one, that's the difference between a ball just fucking dying in the outfield at the warning track or if it's 5 rows into the stands. Because he's displayed some power against the Dodgers over the last few starts, I think this one's in play. All right. So I wasn't even looking at CJ Abrams today, but we just broke down his fantasy points. Oh, this has been something y'all have actually been doing over the last few weeks, not playing that first taco. So you have the like the proof that it works. Nice. La Liga says Alex Boom 2 hits demon, Travis Diernod 1 hit. All right. Logan Gilbert K's. Let's take a look at Logan Gilbert K's as Seattle is visiting Texas. Logan Gilbert over 5.5 Ks is what you want to take a look at. Projected for 6.25. Caesars likes the over. Unfortunately, that is the only book that likes the over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books like the under on this one. Tough ballpark to pitch in like this time of year, especially. Hotter weather, humid. It's not dead of summer right now, but wind is blowing out today as well, so his matchup with the Rangers right now, man, one of the best teams in the MLB in terms of their strikeout rate versus righties, only striking out at an 18% rate. Numbers versus Gilbert. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 players, projected players in this lineup that have an above 20% strikeout rate. Simeon under, Seager under, and then the rest of these fools have not faced Gilbert. This team against righties on the year, these are some low strikeout rates. It might be a little tougher for Gilbert today. 10 against Texas here. This is last season though. So let's go last 5 starts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 straight games to start the year off for Gilbert going over 5.5. So 6+. Now Boston strikes out at a super high rate. You got some strikeout heavy teams in here, teams that do swing and miss a lot. But now he gets to face the Texas Rangers team that does not strike out a lot. So if you're on the bandwagon of this streak continuing, then you think that 5.5 is too low, because based off what he's done, he's averaging almost 6 in those 4 games, right? 16, 22, 29, 29 divided by 4, 7. He's averaging over 7 in those games. So, that's a tough one. Pitching outs, he is projected for 18 outs, which is 6 innings. So basically he needs to average a strikeout per inning. So that is another way you can look at it. Does Logan Gilbert get 1 strikeout per inning over 6 innings? That's your baseline. If you have any reservations on his strikeouts, you are getting favorable odds to the over on his pitching outs. So if you want to pivot from his strikeouts to his pitching outs, you can definitely do that. I think that one's in play. All right. I need 2 more plays for this slip, and then we're going to lock it in. And then I'll throw it in the Discord as well, so you can tail it. Unfortunately, a lot of the plays that I liked this morning did get bumped up or just flat out removed from the board. And then when that happens, you just got to start all over again. Usually I try to put plays throughout the day, because the first round of props that I put in my cheat sheet are probably only going to be valid for about 4 hours. So then I try to add something to it in the afternoon. But also, you don't want to force anything in, because as you get closer to tip off, those lines get tougher and tougher and the value isn't there. Y'all think Tyrese Halliburton bounces back today? He did not look all that great. All right, how about this one? I'm going to leave Abrams in there. And I'm going to add one more, because I did go with this guy last game, and he did come through for me with the double-double. He just didn't get over his 12.5 rebounds and assists, but I think he finished with 11 boards, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's Bobby Portis over his rebounds today. All right, I'm going to lock that one in there. Now there is a little benefit to adding plays throughout the day, because what you see in the morning is like your first wave. Lines move, money moves in the afternoon, so then you'll see different plays, but the field does get smaller and smaller. So you still can find value in the afternoon or mid-morning, but you do have to look. I thought that Bobby Portis rebound prop was good, and I didn't see it super early this morning. So that one was gaining some momentum over the last couple hours at least. Logan Webb under pitcher fantasy. All right, I'm going to add this one to the Discord after we're done here. Man, if who was the first? Who was the top vote getter on the Taco Towns? I know PrizePicks, so I know the taco voting is up to us. Like, I've heard somebody say it, you know, it's our fault because we picked a bad taco or whatever. And technically that's true. But what also is true is we don't get to choose the options. So if somebody is presenting you 5 options that they picked and they're telling you to pick your favorite out of those, it's truly not your favorite. So yes, while we do make bad decisions in voting for these tacos, we're basing it off of somebody else's options, right? So it's like if somebody says, hey, do you want to get punched in the dick or do you want to get punched in the eye? And you're like, I guess the eye, because I got 2 of those. But like, if it were up to you, you would say neither. I don't want to get punched at all. That would be the best option. So I know that the voting is up to us, but it kind of is not really, if you think about it. The candidates have already been chosen. Arenado over fantasy score. All right. I always get Arenado and Machado mixed up. Not because they look alike or anything, but just because they piss me off so much. In terms of being in positions to go over fantasy points and just being in situations where they should be going over their point props and shit like that, I don't think I've ever been let down more times than when I pick Manny Machado. So let's look at Nolan Arenado. All right, so we have some projections for him today. Not grading out all that well. So he is projected for a single. So there's your 3 points right there. That's about it. Let's see if we can figure out how this is going to end up. Numbers against Tommy Henry. He has 3 plate appearances, 3 hits, batting 1,000%. No homers, no RBIs. I tell you what, if Nolan Arenado gets a double and a single today, that's over. He's got the over on that one. Numbers this season versus lefties like Tommy Henry. Not the best to start off. Now, last season, we did see him hit for more power versus righties, but he did get 4 times the amount of at-bats versus righties. So, righty-lefty matchup, but really not seeing a whole lot early on outside of these numbers here. Are these the only? These are the same he did it this season against Tommy Henry? Henry versus righties like Arenado. So if you were going to if you were going to look to play the over on Arenado, I think it would be more so because Tommy Henry's issues with righties this season so far. He's given up 10 singles, 6 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs for a .322 batting average, which is terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Goldie and Arenado are raking against Henry overall versus lefties on the season. Goldsmith is doing all right. Super low K rate, meaning he's putting the ball in play. For Arenado, not a bad K rate. 14% is on the lower side, so he is putting the ball in play more times than he's striking out, which is what you want. If we look at the odds here, he's projected for just 1 hit. He is projected for, he's got decent odds for home run at plus 300. I like the odds on his RBI. We're getting minus 115 on that one. And also runs scored. So if Arenado were to get you a single, score a run, and eventually get an RBI, there's 7 fantasy points right there. Over the last 5 games, he has been doing a great job of drawing walks. That's 5 walks in 5 games. His numbers against Tommy Henry are really good. So you could play this a couple of different ways. With his hits. 4 out of his last 5 games. Like I guess he's on a streak. I guess he's on a nice little roll, right? I mean, there's some positive stuff here. I don't like the projections, but I love his numbers against Tommy Henry. 3 hits, 3 at-bats, 2 extra base hits. And I love Tommy Henry's numbers against righties this season. Just giving up a shit ton of production. So if we have these favorable numbers versus Tommy Henry, you could look to Arenado's fantasy score. If you just wanted to leverage his success versus Henry, what you could do also is try to play one of his demon plays. If he gets you a double, there's your total bases. That's not a demon play. So this is telling me that this one is in play because they haven't tried to like put a demon on it. You saw what he did. He has 2 doubles against Henry. That's 2 bases. Or you could just flat out play the double demon prop. There's your pay boost. I don't know about multiple hits. He could. I think his double is in play. If you feel like he goes yard, you could go with the home run. If you feel that he gets multiple hits, his hits, runs, and RBIs in play as well, because if he gets you 2 hits, there's 60% of that prop, and he just needs to score a run or drive in a run, which is possible. I think the double is in play. Or you could just play it safer and go with his fantasy score. That's not a bad one, though. It's not a guarantee if a player has good success against a pitcher that it always happens like that. Like, it doesn't always play out like that, but it is a good data point when you're trying to isolate that production. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it. Talked about a lot of player props today. Be on the lookout for the taco drop today. Is it already out? No, not yet. All right. I'll share the slip that I created in the Discord for everyone to see. Screenshots of all the plays that we talked about in today's Discord. If the taco is Devin Booker, I honestly, Now I do want to play the under on his full game prop, especially with the bump. It got bumped from 24.5 to 25. That might be one worth playing the under on, or you can just not play the first taco and wait for the NHL taco and then the third taco. But we were already kind of looking at this, and we needed to really make a case for Devin Booker, and it depended on Bradley Beal not getting his shot volume and possibly Kevin Durant not hitting his shots, and all that equals Devin Booker going over. His numbers against Minnesota have not been good. So I'm not surprised that they are looking to drop his prop, but this could be a good candidate for the under on the OG. I know a lot of people don't like doing that, but I honestly don't understand why that's considered a bad strategy. And to each their own. So that might be something I do if Devin Booker is that taco. But hopefully they all hit. Hopefully whichever taco you play hits. What do we got coming up in the Discord? So sharing today's plays, sharing today's slip that I built. I got a player write-up coming out this afternoon. Yesterday's player write-up did hit for us. Took the over 17.5 PRA for Max Strus. I thought he would go over this easier. I thought it'd be more point-centric. Thought he'd get 12 points, something like that. And 8 rebounds and assists, give him about 20. He did finish with 20, I think. But they were mostly rebounds and assists. I don't care. It hit. So in hindsight, I would have played the over on his first half PRA, but I played the over on his first half points at 5, and he pushed it. I played the over on LeBron James 1 quarter rebounds, or first quarter rebounds at 1.5, and that hit. That's been a wagon. The next game out, take a look at that LeBron James rebound prop at 1.5 for his first quarter on Underdog and PrizePicks. He's very active in the first quarter. But if I had taken his first half PRA, we would have cashed that damn slip that I shared. So anyway, I'll share a few more slips today when the tacos drop. We got player write-up coming out and a whole bunch of shit in the Discord. Whether you're in a freemium or premium, there's a lot to take a look at and to use. So appreciate y'all being here for today's live stream. Another 2-hour live stream. Funny, fewer games on the slate, the longer the live stream. Funny how that works. We fill up the time pretty well. If you've lasted this long, appreciate it. Consider subbing up to the channel. It means a ton. Hit the like button on your way out. It does really go a long way in helping the channel grow. And consider sharing my channel, sharing my content with somebody you know, just so we can get more eyes on the channel. If you're interested in the Discord, the link is in the stream description. You can pop on over there in the freemium section, or if you're interested in joining premium, I have a few different options available to you. So just DM me and let me know what you want to do. But hopefully these tacos work out for us. Hopefully we have maximal profit to talk about on tomorrow's live stream. Minimal turds. As I always say, I hope all of your player props respect the damn coin. Best of luck to you all. And until tomorrow's player prop talk live stream, Chavez is out.